Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, we got a little boom boom with Boris. Stay tuned. All right, guys. So in the 80s, there was a guy named Boom Boom. He was an 18-year-old kid from Germany who kind of came suddenly on the scene to start winning Wimbledon. His name was Boris Becker, and he supposedly played, endorsed this racket. Now, I'm going to go to Coach Rob right now. Coach Rob, remember Boom Boom?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why was he called Boom Boom?
Booming serve.
Right.
He could hit the serve big.
Yeah, I remember it was really big. I remember it was a very, I don't want to say violent motion, but it was a pretty fluid motion.
Right. He had the good back arch and the big snap, and
It was 18 years old.
Yeah. I think I was older than him, and I was like, oh my God. I was like only maybe a year or two older than him, and I was like, uh-oh. Like, this guy's younger than me, and he just won Wimbledon. It's like, wow. Very impressive.
I also remember him diving around in the grass.
Yep. Laying out, full body, just lay out, stretch as much as you could, and making some amazing volleys.
Yeah, crazy. Like if you lived it, you remember what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'm sure there's highlight reels out there. Yeah, Boris Becker. Do you remember the racket he played with?
Vaguely. I kind of remembered it was a sort of a strangish shape. It wasn't traditional round. It was a little, what was it?
Kind of an egg shape?
Yeah, sort of egg. I mean, I'm just trying to remember back in the day, but I never saw one, never hit with one.
Really? You only saw it on television?
I only saw it on television, yeah.
Well, this is your lucky day.
What? Oh my God.
A lot of people have been asking me to get a Puma racket, or in his later years, Astusa bought the mold. But this is the Puma Boris Becker, the universal mid-size. They call it Super, I think, from what I was reading.
There was a Super on the side.
Boris Becker Super. Yeah. So you see the, I don't want to say odd shape.
It's just, it's fanned out further here than, more normal,
and then
traditional
it's tapered up here in.
Right.
Look at these grommets. Check out these grommets. They're all flared. I don't know if you can even change these grommets or if they need to be changed. Right. There's no head guard, so I don't think you need to be changing these grommets at all.
Yeah, they look kind of strange.
Right? Because I don't think you can get them out, get them back in.
Right.
So here's some facts. I'm going to have you hold this racket.
Okay.
The racket they call it a universal mid-size, 92 square inches.
Huh. Interesting.
And it's kind of a box beam. It's kind of squared off here.
Right.
Oh, man. Need a string job? Need a string job today? All you have to do is launch your app at Direct Tennis, call out the stringer. Your stringer can come pick it up from you, or you could take it there. They're in your neighborhood. It's as simple and as easy as that. Find your stringer today at directtennis.online.
It's also interesting in the shape. Most of the time you're trying to hit the ball, up here. On a racket like this, if you're too close to the ball, you've got probably a bigger sweet spot down in here even.
Well, you remember back in the 80s, it was, your grip, the Continental.
Thanks.
Therefore, the sweet spot was lower and probably in the center of where this would be.
Right.
So flat hitters would probably, do very well with something like this. So it's 50% graphite, 50% fiberglass.
Oh yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Graphite 50, 50 fiberglass.
Yeah.
Yep.
with the half fiberglass, that means this is a pretty soft racket. Yeah, I mean, I've read that that the RA on this could be 52, which is very, very soft. And then I've also read that it could be 60, but maybe you and I can be the judge of that too.
Dude, it's got a screw.
Yeah, it's got a screw, and it doesn't have a screw loose. Are
you sure there's no screw loose?
So here's the thing about this screw, guys. I was like looking at it, I was like, why is there a screw there? If you tighten up the screw the whole way, the racket length from tip to tip is 26¼ inches long. If you unscrew it the whole way, it becomes a standard racket length at 27. So you could literally adjust the length of the racket.
That's crazy. I've never heard of that.
I haven't heard of that too, but supposedly there's a few people that
made in Taiwan.
Made in Taiwan, designed in the United States, from what I was reading. Oh. Yeah.
Interesting.
But since you haven't held one, and I don't believe have I ever played with one of those? I don't think so. I might have in the 90s, early 90s. This again came out of Peter Allen, my buddy Pete Allen's collection. And you can see he cleaned it up a little bit, but he actually put some, I don't want to say super glue, but some kind of epoxy on the top because it's been worn out so much.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so 13 ounces. 13 ounces. Wow. 12 points head light. Swing weight 350. Got a little heft today. Ready to try?
Let's give it a shot.
Okay. See you on the court. All right, boom, boom, Coach Rob.
The first shot was wow. That thing felt good. I was so surprised, never swinging this before, never picked it up, but the ball jumped off the racket. I was impressed that it, felt this good for being this old, and yeah, swing weight was nice. The plow through the ball was good. I even tried the old demonstration of what I thought Becker's serve looked like. Can't say that was my best impersonation.
You nailed it, man. You nailed it.
I made it, so that counts for something. But yeah, this was fun to play with. Really fun. Kind of made me feel like I was young again.
Do you feel like this racket can survive today, in today's market?
I would be hard pressed to see this on the shelf and someone go, "Oh, this looks like it's for me." But I don't know if it was ever, I never saw one, never played with one when we were kids. So I don't know if it was, if it sold well, if there was a lot of them, if it was, I don't know.
Did you feel anything on the off-center shots? You don't hit off-center, but...
I try not to. I did not notice anything besides, wow, this feels good.
Okay.
When I was finding the sweet spot.
All right. So I, on the other hand, was hitting all over the place.
Well, you see, when Harry play tests it, he tests the whole experience. He wants some here, 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 and some off the edge.
Yeah. I want that, but I kind of don't. But it just kind of happens.
Right.
I know exactly what Coach Rob is talking about. If you hit it here,
right,
it's sweet.
It was sweet.
It's razor. It's like razor cutting through. Ball just shoots off.
Right.
The trajectory of the ball, though, is going to be more on the flat side because there is a lot of mass coming through.
I noticed that because I was trying to spin a few, and I was like,
I just want to go straight.
It wants to go straight.
Because it's so much weight in here. If you hit it high or off to the side high, there's not a lot of power. Those are the ones that you saw me drop into the net.
Right.
You literally have to be pretty spot on with this one. And the racket has to be coming through at a certain amount of, head speed before you can get that pocketing and shooting. But I actually like this a lot. I mean, obviously you have to play with this a little more to really get used to something like this. But if you have a continental grip like Coach Rob and you can hit the center like Coach Rob, you could play with Boom Boom's racket. So, but super fun play test. I'm glad I got one for you.
Definitely. It's always interesting the first few hits, what kind of instant feedback you get. Sometimes you're like, ugh. And sometimes you're like, whoa. Yeah. So it was, definitely cool to try it.
Yeah. So we definitely got that wool sensation. Oh, you hit it right, though.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Coach Rob.
Sure.
All right. Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.